Good evening, everyone. My name is Cassandra, and I am zooming in this afternoon here in the East Coast from Southwest New Hampshire. And I'm going to be leading our practice this afternoon on alignment and mobility. And our practice will consist of some centering to start. We'll do some different yoga asana, some postures, most of which I'll show from a chair. That could also be the edge of the couch or whatever you have to work with nearby. If it's comfortable for you, you could also do some of these postures from seated on the floor or even standing, and I'll give those options when they come up. But of course, just picking the best option that's going to feel right in your body for this afternoon. And we will get started in the chair or in a seated position. I'm going to move myself back into my chair. And our focus today, like I said, alignment and mobility. So we'll be focusing on a good full body kind of circular motions and movements throughout our practice, and aligning of our spine and moving our spine in a few different directions as well. When we get to a little later in our practice today, we'll look at balancing our nervous system with a really lovely alternate nostril breath. And then we'll bring everything into a really lovely body scan meditation to end. But to start, let's all find a comfortable seated position. And if you're in a chair, maybe even just kind of moving a little side to side and feeling your sitting bones anchoring down. Maybe your feet are planted to the floor. Hands can rest just on the thighs or knees. And from the sitting bones anchoring down to the floor or to the seat of the chair, just find a nice tall spine, feeling almost as if there's a little imaginary string from the top and center of the head lifting you up. You can relax your shoulders down. And your choice if you'd like to close the eye gaze here, or if it's more comfortable, maybe just lowering your gaze or softening your gaze. And before we get into our practice, we'll just take a few moments of starting to draw our attention inward. I'm sure some of us are practicing from home and there might be other people or pets nearby, or maybe we're in a place where there are sounds around us. So taking a moment to notice those things happening around us, maybe listening to the sounds happening around you. And then choosing to draw your attention more inward. And notice at this point on your Wednesday or whenever you're watching the recording, what might be coming up for you in this moment. Noticing any thoughts passing through. Noticing how your body is feeling today. Notice the quality of the breath in this moment. And then as you're noticing your breath, you can start to just very gradually make the breath a little slower. Maybe seeing if you can fill the breath throughout the torso and the belly, the rib cage, the upper chest with that inhale. And feeling the entire body just settling in with the exhale. And you might start to guide your breath into an even length rhythm where your exhale is just as long as your inhale. And I find it's helpful to just mentally, to myself, count out the length of the breath. Maybe you're counting to 3 as you breathe in. And you'll find that same count of 3 as you breathe out. Or maybe for some of us, counting to 4 as you breathe in. And then 4 as you breathe out. Just taking another few moments here to find that steady, balanced, even length breath. And keeping the breath flowing like this. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can start to think of a word or a short phrase, maybe something that you'd like to cultivate through this practice tonight, or something that you'd like to focus on. And maybe that is just bringing in a little bit more ease to the body or peace into your life. And once you have that intention set, if the eyes are closed, you can very gently start to blink them back to open. Realigning in that nice tall spine. Let the shoulders relax back and down. It's okay if the hands slide back on the thighs slightly to help you do that. And we're going to start today with a little bit of movement for the neck, and you're just going to move to the degree that you're finding a comfortable amount of stretch and sensation here today. So with your next inhale, try to sit up just a little taller. And then as you exhale, tuck the chin down and towards the chest. So your gaze is going to shift down towards your lap. Keep the shoulders releasing down, the collarbones broad. And taking the head back up through neutral. And we'll start to lift the chin up towards the ceiling. And as you do this, try not to let the head just drop back. Think about lifting the face up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the front of the neck. Take a nice full breath in. And then head back to neutral as you breathe out. And we're going to turn and look over our right shoulder. Just the head and the neck moving, keeping the rest of the torso still. And then very slowly, you can start to rotate back to center. And then we'll take that over to the left side. And then back to center. From center, let's tilt the right ear over towards the right shoulder, finding a stretch through the side of the neck. And as you do that, let that left shoulder relax down, let that left arm be heavy. And then gently pick the head back up through center. And we'll take it over to the other side, left ear towards the left shoulder. Breathing into that space that you're creating through the right side of the neck. And then let's take that back up through to center. And from center, let's give the shoulders a squeeze up towards the ears now. And you can roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulders together, and then let them drop down. And we'll take that a few times. Pushing the shoulders forward, squeezing up towards the ears, and then letting the shoulders roll back and down. Maybe with the breath, inhaling as you lift the shoulders. And exhaling to release. We'll take a few the other way. So squeeze the shoulders back, lift them up towards the ears, roll them forward and around. And take that twice more. Inhaling, shoulders up to the ears. Exhaling forward and around. Steady breath in. And steady breath out. And letting the shoulders relax down. We'll let the arms relax down by our sides. And for this next stretch, we're going to take the arms out to the sides and up. If you're a little limited on space out to your sides, maybe the arms move a little bit more forward. We're going to use our in-breath to start to stretch the arms up towards the ceiling to the degree that the shoulders feel good with tonight. And then exhale, just flip the palms and let the hands come right back down by your sides. We'll do that twice more with the breath. Nice and big sweep up as you inhale. And flipping the palms, letting the hands release back down as you exhale. Steady breath in. And steady breath out. Good. Once your arms are down by your sides, let's make two fists with the hands and just give the wrists a little bit of a circle around in one direction. And then take those circles around in the other direction. You can give your hands a good shake out, maybe even a little flick of the fingers, kind of releasing any tension from the hands and the wrists today. Okay. And then let's let the arms dangle again. So if you're on a seat, you might shift forward so that you're a little bit more towards the front edge of the seat. Those sitting bones still anchored, not so far forward that you're going to fall off. Feet can plant down to the floor. And we'll let our right arm just hang right alongside the body, or maybe you're in a chair, you hold on to the edge of the chair. We'll take the left hand onto the center of the chest. And as you inhale, think about lifting the chest up right underneath your hand, sitting up tall. And exhale, let's lean up and over to the right, finding a little bit more space through the left side of the body. Some of us might want to extend that left arm up to the ceiling, or even take it all the way up and overhead to deepen the stretch. Let's do one more breath here. And then you can slowly pull the head back up to the ceiling, let that left arm come down. The left hand can hang by your side, or maybe grab a hold of the chair, right hand onto the center of the chest. As you inhale, sitting up tall, lifting the heart underneath the hand. And exhale, this time we'll lean up and over to the left. And same options here, hand can stay where it's at, relaxing the shoulder and the elbow. Maybe lifting up towards the ceiling, or even up and overhead towards the left side of your room. Let's bring that all the way back up through center and let the hand come down. Both hands can come now onto the thighs or onto the knees. And just sitting up tall, feeling that extra little bit of space that we just created through the sides of the waist. And we're going to do two postures that we tend to link together with the breath, cat pose and cow pose. It's a little bit of movement for the spine. And again, we're right towards the very front edge of the chair, so we do have a little bit of space to stretch back if need be. The feet can stay planted, hands can stay resting on the legs. And let's start to draw the shoulder blades together, draw the elbows back, lift the center of the chest forward, and maybe even lift the chin again. It's a little subtle back bend here. And then coming back through to center. And we'll flip that shape. You can think about rounding your spine, dropping the chin towards the chest and looking down towards the lap. And back to center. So with the breath, as you inhale, beginning to lift the center of the chest, draw the shoulders back, lift the chin, and maybe rocking forward on your pelvis. As you exhale, rolling onto the tailbone, chin to chest, rounding the spine. Just take these a few more times at the pace of your breath, your inhale, feeling that lift forward, opening the front body, and your exhale, rounding the spine, feeling a stretch across the back body. Let's try for two more like that. And then making our way back to neutral. So we've done a little bit of side bending for the spine. We've done a little bit of back bending and forward bending for the spine. Now we're going to take this into a gentle twist. So you can take your left hand and cross it over onto your right knee or thigh. And your right hand can either hang down by your side, or if you are on a chair, maybe reaching back for the back of the chair. Try to sit up as tall as you can. And then from that length, we're going to begin to rotate to the right side of the room. And if it's comfortable for the neck, maybe you again turn the gaze over that right shoulder a little bit more. Let's all take a deep inhale here. And with the exhale, you can come back to center. And then we'll switch that over to the other side, taking your right hand to your left knee. The left hand might come back to the chair, just hang by your side. Sit up tall as you breathe in, and then start to find that twist to the left as you breathe out. An option for the gaze to keep rotating over that left shoulder. Taking a full inhale. And then with your exhale, coming back to center. When we get to center here, let's take the feet out just a little wider than the hips, still planting the feet to the floor. And we'll have a few options for this next one, but we're going to try to find a little bit of movement, a little bit of rotation, mobility in the hip joint. And one option could be that you just keep your toes on the floor and you think about circling your knee around. And these circles that we're doing can be as small or as big as feels good in your body today. Some of us might lean back slightly and actually lift the foot off the floor, taking the knee in the hand and starting those circles using the hands to guide the knee around. And maybe they start small and gradually get a little bigger. If you've done a few circles in one direction, let's switch that over and go the other way. And then you can plant that foot back down, maybe just a little wider than the hips. Pause and take a breath here, noticing any differences through one side of the body compared to the other. And then same two options for the second side. Maybe you're up on your toes, circling the knee around. Maybe you're using the hand to help lift the foot up and take those circles around. Small circles or big circles. And once you've done a few in one direction, you can take a few around the other way. And then let's plant that foot back down. Once you have your feet planted again, maybe just a little wider than the hips, we're going to take a look at a goddess pose. And this can be a really nice hip opener. We'll have the option taken into a little bit of a side bend and a twist as well. So you can keep the feet a little wider than the hips. Some of us might even heel toe out a little bit wider, keeping the knees tracking in the same direction that the toes are going. My toes are turning out about 45 degrees. So once you have the hips open, gently the feet planted to the floor, let's take the left hand down to the inside of that right knee, and the palm can face forward, and then the right hand can come back onto the center of the chest. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, taking a little lean over to the left, and shining the heart up towards the sky. And just as we did before with our side bend, your hand can stay right on the heart center, or maybe you stretch that arm straight up to the ceiling. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. And then slowly you can start to lift the head all the way back up through center. Let the arms relax down. Let's pause and take a breath. And then switch that over to the other side. So the right hand can come into the inside of the knee, the left hand can come onto the center of the chest. Lengthening through the spine first, taking a little lean over to the right and spinning the center of the chest up towards the sky. And you have that same option to just keep the hand right here, or maybe give it an extend up towards the ceiling. You might even think about reaching the hands in opposite directions for a really luscious stretch here. Let's all do one more inhale. And then coming back upright with the exhale. You can relax the arms down and start to heel toe your feet back in, your legs back in. So the knees are right in line with the hips. Still sitting forward towards the front edge of the chair. And then let's stretch our left leg out in front of us. So the heel comes down to the floor and the toes are aiming up to the ceiling. And then once you're here, you can start to circle the foot around. So you're taking some circles of the ankle in one direction, and then a few circles of the ankle around in the other direction. You might point and flex the foot a few times, drawing the toes towards the screen and then pulling the toes back towards the knee. Just finding a little extra space through the ankle, stretching both the top and bottom of the foot. And then you can bring that left foot back in and plant it down. And we'll switch sides. Stretch your right leg forward and start to find some circles of the right ankle. Take those circles the other way. Point and flex a few times. I'm going to hover my foot just so you get a little bit of a better view with my camera here. Toes pointed, and then flex. And then we can draw that leg back in. Let's stretch the left leg forward again, heel coming down to the floor, aiming the toes up at the ceiling, with the option to take this into a little bit of a forward fold and stretch forward. So inhale to sit up tall. And think about leaning forward from your hips as you exhale, melting the torso a little bit more forward. And maybe you're feeling as you're leaning a little bit extra stretch through the back of the leg. If it's feeling like a little too much in the knee, you can always bend into that left knee. Or relax the toes a little bit more. If you're looking for more stretch, maybe pulling the toes back. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll lift the torso back upright first. You can bend into that left knee and plant the left foot back down. Switching sides, right leg extends out, heel down, toes aiming up. As you inhale, sitting up tall. And exhale, starting to lean forward just to the degree that you find a nice stretch through the back of that right leg. And same options. You can always keep a bend in the knee to lessen any intensity right behind the knee. If you're looking for a little bit more stretch today, maybe drawing the toes back, keeping that foot flexed. Finding your steady breath as we hold the stretch here. And then with your inhale, starting to lift yourself back upright. And we'll plant the foot back down. Let's just pause for a second with the feet planted to the floor, the spine nice and tall. And this next shape that we're going to look at is a really lovely shape to open up through the sides of the waist. Also to open up the front body. Look around, especially in New Hampshire where I'm at in the winter, things can start to feel a little heavy right now. There's snow, there's slush, things just feel a little So this is a really nice shape to let things kind of lift and open. So it's a look at our triangle pose, and I'll show this one from a seated position first, and I'll show you how you could also do this standing using the chair for support. I am going to turn my body just slightly so that I'm facing out to the corner of the chair. And to start, I'll keep my left knee bent and the foot planted. And I'm going to stretch my right leg forward and long. And with this shape, and I'm sorry, it's hard to see here, I'm keeping my toes pointed. So maybe for some of us, even the foot is somewhat flat to the floor. If that's feeling a little too much stretch in the foot, you can always just let the heel come down. But I'm going to stack my shoulders right over my hips. So my chest is facing in the same direction that my hips are facing, getting a little opening here. And I'm going to think about lengthening through both sides of the waist, keeping the spine really long. And moving from the hip, my right hand can come down to the thigh. And I'm going to start to lean my shoulder over towards that right foot. So it should start to feel like a nice stretch through the left side body. Some of us might even stretch that arm straight up towards the ceiling. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. If you're in the chair version, you can stay here, finding that even length breath. If you'd like to look at the standing version of this pose, I'm going to step that right foot forward, just about underneath the chair, step the left foot back. My hips and shoulders and torso are all facing in the same direction. I'm going to lengthen through the sides of the body, and moving from the hip, I'm going to start to reach forward, and my hand's going to come to the top of the chair first and see how that feels. If I feel like I have a little deeper to go, maybe the fingertips or the palm of the hand might come down to the seat of the chair, just using that for support. Feet are rooted, the legs are nice and strong. Let the shoulders roll back. And feel again, opening through the sides of the body, opening through the front of the body. Let's all take a couple more breaths here. If you're in the standing version of the pose, you're going to press strongly down into your feet to start to lift yourself back up, right? You can always use the wall or chair for support. Step the feet back in, and you might find that you're moving around to the other side of the chair for our second side. Same thing if you're seated in this version. Once you've come upright, let's draw both legs in and just find ourselves in neutral for a moment, whether that's seated or standing. Feet planted, spine tall, shoulders relaxed, and you're welcome to close the eyes. Maybe tuning into how one side of the body is feeling here, noticing any differences. And then we'll take this over to the second side. So in my chair, I'm going to start to turn a little bit more to the right, keeping that right knee bent and the foot planted, kind of facing out to the side of the room. And then the left leg can stretch forward and long in front of me. So it's almost a combination of our hamstring stretch and our goddess pose that we did earlier. We're keeping the shoulders right over the hips. The spine is nice and tall. And we're going to try to keep the length, especially through that left side body, as we start to hinge, excuse me, the head forward towards the toes. And then there's the option for the arm to lift up towards the ceiling. And once you've found your shape, if you're staying in this chair version, maybe a 3 to 5 more breaths. If you're doing the standing version, same options for the hand to find a comfortable place to land so you have some stability here, whether it's the back of the chair or the seat of the chair, keeping that length through the side bodies, keeping the opening through the front of the body. And if things are feeling stable, arm might go up to the ceiling. Good. And then when you're ready, if you're still in the shape, we're going to start to lift upright using the chair for support. You can turn the toes in, walk the feet back together. If you're in the chair, bending your knee, planting both feet down, and just turning yourself again back into a nice neutral shape. If you're standing, it might look like your mountain pose. In the chair, we're just keeping the knees right over the ankles. Maybe closing down the eyes. And checking back into the side bodies. Taking a nice full inhale. And a long exhale. Flutter open the eyes. And we're going to move into a breath work practice. And for this practice, it's nice to find a seated position where your spine can stay nice and tall. Whether that's still in the chair, or if you're sitting on the floor, maybe you're moving back up against a wall or a piece of furniture for a little bit of support. I am going to move myself a little closer to the screen so you can see me for this one. And this is a practice that I really love that's great for balancing the nervous system and stress reduction. It's called alternate nostril breathing. And what we'll do with this practice is use our fingers, our thumb and our pinky finger, to alternate closing one nostril and then the other. And I'll guide the rhythm that we're going to come into for this. The basis of this practice, though, is our even length breath. A nice, smooth, balanced breath. The exhale following the inhale. Maybe you're coming back to that 3 or 4 count breath. And if for whatever reason, seasonally or otherwise, it's hard to get breath in through one nostril, things are feeling too blocked for this practice to feel comfortable for you, just release your hands back down and let your breath return to that original practice of even length rhythm. If you'd like to join me in this alternate nostril practice, we'll take a few regular breaths in and out through both nostrils together. And then I'll guide a few rounds of using the thumb on the right hand to close the right nostril. The pinky finger would close the left nostril. If you're familiar with this practice, you might also be familiar with the mudra of keeping ring and pinky together. But just to keep things simple today, give me a little hang 10, thumb and pinky used to close alternating nostrils. We're going to keep the shoulder relaxed, keep the elbows relaxed, and your left hand can just come down to rest onto your thigh or in your lap. Take a moment to feel your sitting bones anchored, the crown of the head lifting up. An option maybe to close the eyes or just to soften the gaze. And if you haven't already, you can fold in the 3 middle fingers, keeping your pinky and thumb out to the sides, letting that hand rest onto your right knee for a moment. And finding that even length breath. So we'll all take an inhale together and exhale. And just breathing regularly through both nostrils, inhaling and exhale. One more time, inhaling through both nostrils. Exhaling through both nostrils, and at the bottom of your exhale, you'll use your thumb to close the right nostril and inhale just through the left side. At the top of the inhale, you'll use the pinky finger to close the left, open the right, exhale through the right side. Keep the hand as it is for the inhale through the right side. Close the thumb, open the pinky, exhale, left side. That's one complete round. Inhaling again through left side. Close the left, open the right, exhale from the right side. Inhaling from the right side. Close right, open left, exhale from the left side. We'll keep this going a few more times. Inhaling left. Closing left, open right, exhale right. Inhaling right. Closing right, open left, exhale left. Inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Do one more round. Inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. At the bottom of your exhale, relax the right hand, relax the fingers. Let the breath return to normal through both nostrils. And just noticing, very similar to the start of our practice, the quality of your thoughts here, the quality of the breath. And if the eyes are closed, you can gently blink them back to open. We're going to end our practice with some meditation, which can either be done seated or can be done lying down. And if you're near a couch or a reclining chair, you can lean back. If you are seated in an upright chair, maybe even scooching yourself right back to the back of the chair for support. We just want to make sure that when we're coming to relaxation, we're letting the body relax completely, that we are in a stable spot where we're not going to slip off the chair. And I myself have been known to nod off in a meditation once or twice before. So just making sure that if that does happen, you get so relaxed that maybe you doze off for a second, that you're in a stable spot, that you're not going to fall. So if you'd like to come down to the floor, if that feels available for you, you can come into a final relaxation pose of just letting the back body rest, whether your legs are bent or legs are stretched out long. Seated in the chair, you can keep the feet planted, but maybe just kind of cozy yourself back a little bit for support, supporting the spine, and ultimately just finding a shape where your body does feel like it can relax and release for these next few minutes. So we'll take a moment to make our way into that comfortable shape for relaxation and meditation. If you're in a space that you can maybe add a pillow under your head if you're lying down, or a blanket over the body, feel free to put on layers, socks. And maybe you're letting the eye gaze close. Maybe you're finding just one point that you can look very softly at in front of you. And making any final little adjustments so you're as comfortable as you can be here for these next few minutes. And with this body scan, I'll be naming different areas of the body. You can bring your attention to those spaces as I name them. And we'll notice and then relax and release those spaces. Your body can stay pretty still. If something needs to adjust or maybe wiggle to find a little bit more release, feel free to do that. But just try to stay fully present to my voice as we move from part to part. So we'll start this practice by noticing the right hand. You can notice your right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and fifth finger, the palm of the hand and the back of the hand. And just feel that entire right hand completely relaxed, letting go. Relaxing the right wrist, the lower arm, elbow, and upper arm, all the way up to that right shoulder, relaxing the right shoulder. And feeling almost like a wave of relaxation down from the right shoulder all the way out to the fingertips, so that entire right arm and hand are just completely relaxed. And then we'll move our attention over to the left hand. You can become aware of your left hand's thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and fifth finger, the palm of the hand and the back of the hand, feeling that entire left hand completely relaxed. Moving to the wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder. Feeling your left shoulder relaxed and feeling that wave of relaxation travel down the arm to the fingertips. So that entire left arm and hand are completely relaxed and letting go. And move your awareness down to both feet together. Relaxing all your toes, the soles of the feet, and the tops of the feet. Both of your feet are completely relaxed. Releasing the ankles, lower legs, knees, thighs, all the way up to your hips. Feeling the hips and the pelvis relaxed, and that wave of relaxation traveling down the legs all the way back down to the toes. Both of your legs completely relaxed and letting go. You can notice the back of your body, from the glutes to the spine, all the way up to the shoulder blades, letting go. The front of the body, the belly, the abdomen, the chest and collarbones, relaxed. The neck, the head, the features of the face, relaxing through the jaw and the mouth, the ears and the cheeks, the nose, relaxing your eyes and your brow and forehead, relaxing the back of the head and the top of the head, feeling your entire head completely relaxed and letting go. And starting to feel the entire body, the arms, the legs, the back, the front, the head, completely relaxed and letting go. Just take a moment to feel your body completely relaxed and letting go. Just allow yourself to feel the body relaxed. And as we're noticing the body, we're going to very gently start to bring some small movements, some subtle movements back into the body, starting with the wiggle of your fingers and the wiggle of your toes. And maybe you circle the wrists and the ankles a few times, or gently rock the head side to side. You might give your arms and legs a good stretch. And in your own time, with no rush, we're going to come to meet in a comfortable seated position. So if you're leaning back or lying down on the floor, you can bend your knees. And just taking your time, keeping the movements small and easy. You can roll over to one side. Use the hands to support, pressing the body back upright. Maybe as you're doing this, the eyes stay closed or the gaze just stays a little lower to the floor. So just use these next few moments to make your way back to that space where your sitting bones can anchor and your spine can grow nice and tall. Once you've arrived, you can bring the hands up to meet in front of you and start to rub the hands gently together, building just a little bit of warmth between the palms of the hands. And then we'll rest one hand over the heart center, the other hand over that hand. And thinking back to the intention that you set for your practice today, thinking of that word or phrase. And just seeing how you can carry that intention with you throughout the rest of the day or the rest of your week. Thank you all so much for joining me in this practice this evening. Namaste. So thank you for watching the recording later on. Thank you to Women Heart for offering this class. And if you do have any questions, I believe Erin from Women Heart and Sonia will be available to answer anything that did come up for you. So thank you.